Hi, my name is Nico. I have been in the country for 3 years now. I'm a permanent resident, and I grew up in Germany. I spent 35 years in Germany and used to be a social democrat. And then I moved here, and then Trump got elected, and now I'm questioning all that. My question is about free speech, because when I grew up in Germany, I'm very observant. I'm very interested in how an individual acts in groups and on the street, and so I would observe the people on the street, look them in the face in Germany, and I got insulted like all the time. When you look people in the face in Germany, they, for some reason, get angry and they ask, "Why are you looking?" Whatever, yeah. And I've been insulted so many times, and since I've moved here, I haven't been insulted on the street anymore. Now, when I look people in the face in New York City, they greet me. Yeah, for some reason, it's culturally here very different. That when you look people in the face, that people greet you. So, what I think is very interesting is that in Germany, free speech is regulated, and insulting people is actually illegal. There's an actual government lists what's illegal. I'll give you an example. So, for example, when you say to someone, "What do you want, you bird?" that costs you €500. If somebody sues you, that can cost you €500.
Can you repeat that one?
What is it? What do you want, you?
So, what do you want, you bird?
You
it's
bird?
€500.
Like bird?
That's an official list from the government. Yeah, so when you say stupid cow, that might cost you €300 if somebody sues you. So,
This is the greatest thing I've ever.
yeah, I don't really. So this is, I think it's very interesting that I got insulted on the streets and in Germany like all the time, even though it's illegal. But here in America, where it's not illegal and where you can basically tell everybody like stupid cow, it's not illegal. I don't get called that. I don't get insulted anymore. So what I would like to know is if there are any like discussions about this, because you talked about free speech earlier, if people actually think about this difference and how European countries, especially Germany, handles this and in comparison to the United States, and why it is like you get insulted on the streets in Germany like all the time. And I'm not talking like now, where with all these Syrian refugees in country. I'm talking about like 10, 15 years ago, yeah, when I lived in Germany, but it has always been like this. So,
Well, I think the first thing I want to say is that's the greatest question we've ever received in the
Bar
history
none, the greatest
doing
question ever.
all of these events. I just want a shirt that says, "What are you looking at, you bird?"
Deutschland über alles. But so
That's almost like a psychological question, which is an interesting psychological question, and Jordan Peterson probably be much better at assessing it than I'm about to be. But there's something to be said of when you tell people they can't do something, which maybe perhaps makes them want to do it, right? So I'm just thinking about in terms of growing up as a child, and when someone says, "Don't touch this," or "Don't look here," or "Don't do that," the first thing that you want to do is look there, touch that, and say "ow," and learn those experiences. So the fact that the speech is so repressive in Germany might be the reason that you're having all of these little outbursts of people calling you cow, and bird.
well,
Which is a very strange thing to get fined for. You should be much richer, by the way. I don't know why you took those insults and didn't.
and so there's a very important pragmatic side to this. Whereas Europe has tried the idea that you must censor speech and must play on the side of victim, we as America still aggressively maintain the First Amendment. And because of that, in Europe, and Germany being a great test case, people stop talking to each other and they start regulating speech. A great example in Germany is that it is illegal to fly the swastika, correct? There's reasons for that, both pro and con. However, in America, we've had this debate, and the Supreme Court said no matter how uncomfortable it is, you still are allowed to do it. The answer to bad ideas is not to shut up those ideas by force. It's to have better ideas in response to those bad ideas. The answer is always more speech. And what you see in Germany, people insulting each other, all this is exactly what happens when government gets too big. People stop being decent to each other. Individual philanthropy and charity completely and totally erodes. People often say, such as yourself, legal immigrants or visitors to America, they say, Americans, they look at you in the eye, they ask how you can help. Obviously, we have our fair share of impolite people in this country, but there's something to be said that when you start regulating speech and people stop talking to each other, human decency erodes almost altogether, despite it being against the law.
It's like a natural rebellion, I would almost say. And I think that in the American political climate, when you try to assess, and I'm sure you're assessing it very much, you know, why Trump was able to jump on the stage and say things like lock her up and people got really excited, it's because people got really fake. Our politicians were extremely fake. They were lying to us. They were being dishonest, right? And so we were starting to see that overreaching of political correctness in the American society. So when Trump got up there and he was Lion Ted and lock her up and coming up with all these nicknames
energy,
and people, right?
Jeb.
And all... And all these people on the inside, it was sort of this repressed, like, yes, lock Hillary Clinton up. That's right. That's what I think. And this is why he was able to garner such a crowd, because it was a return to the truth. So I would almost argue that in terms of political correctness, it almost inspires this sort of undercurrent of truth to come to the uprising. And that's what people in Germany are saying, fat cow and birds.
You got to get rid of Merkel, by the way. She's a total disaster. I mean, she's a mess. Thank you for your question.
Best
we really
question
appreciate it.
ever.
And one day, I want to be able to call you an American citizen. We need more people like you, my friend. So thank you, seriously.